Welcome to our kitchen. Bunny and I are here cooking with you. The Alchemist shelf all ready to go. Today is the 27th of March. As of tomorrow, we will be 2 weeks in our lockdown here in Lugano, Switzerland, in Paradiso, where I live. And I am in honor of the day and having excitement to spend all this time in my kitchen. I'm making coconut cookies. Okay, so I've set up the ingredients here. Here they are. We've got grated coconut, 3 eggs. I have some coconut sugar. You can use just plain sugar. You're also going to need some salt. I'm going to put on black chocolate. That's my hand sanitizer, which is always in the kitchen, but I won't be putting that in the chocolate, don't worry. And then here's the recipe for Barbara's coconut cookies. You'll notice it says icing sugar. I don't use icing sugar personally. I'm instead going to use the chocolate. Okay, so basically whenever I'm cooking, I actually do this. This isn't just because I'm videoing right now. I actually put all my stuff out so I can see and make sure that I have everything. And in fact, it took me 2 weeks to find this, so I'm really super happy about that. And what's the thing I wanted to let you know next? Also, yesterday when we went out to get the cheese for my burritos last night, I found this, and I found this, which is really the best, I think, for chocolate dunking for food like this. You can buy thick bars from Calier in Switzerland, but I admit to you that I'm a big fan of Lindt, so that's why I use that. So Barbara, my really fun Italian friend, who is a great baker, gave me this recipe, and I'm dedicating this video to you, Barbara. Spasibo большое. Barbara also happens to be my compatriot in the sense she is a fluent Russian speaker, and she is a serious Russophile, and I appreciate so much having an Italian friend who is a Russophile, because Italy is my happy place in many ways, and Russia is my birthplace for my international travel, because as some of you already know, Russia is where I first went to live abroad as a Peace Corps volunteer, and my kitchen in Russia was actually even smaller than this one, which I mentioned in the video before. And in that super small kitchen, I equally managed to do lots of baking, because the kitchen being my happy place is nothing new. In fact, maybe my realization of it was new when I came here, but it's always been my happy place. I'm sure that my mom and my grandma, if she were still alive, my mom is still alive, happily living in Florida, very healthy at this moment. We want to continue that. But they're great cooks, and my auntie is also a super duper cook. So I'm going to transfer these egg whites. Now, why did I do it this way? The egg whites, you need 3 egg whites, and I'm putting them in here right now. And I first put them in the dish. For me, it's about shells. So that's why I do it that way. So I've got my egg whites in here, and I need a pinch of salt. Now, I'll be honest with you, this whole fluffing of the egg white thing, this is new for me. I have not done this before. So a pinch. I got my giraffe spoon here from Africa for the pinch. Okay, so that was pinch. Giraffe spoon. Love the giraffe spoon. Okay, so that was the pinch of salt. I decided I'm going to whisk these without electricity, because I'm told that when you use the electricity, somehow it can change the texture. So let's see what happens. So I've just got egg whites and salt in here, nothing else. I'm whisking. And the next thing is add sugar and coconut to the whip. So I need 1 cup of coconut. So I'm going to stop the whipping for a second. I'm going to open up my coconut here, and I'm going to add 1 cup. So I've got 1 cup. I do the measurements in American measurements. I use, but I have everything written also in the metric, because frankly in Europe the idea of a cup is not necessarily used. Although frankly you could just use literally, if you don't know this, you could just use a cup and use the same cup every time. I actually have this guy who gives me the metric on one side, and on the other side it gives me the American one. So I've got 1 cup of this guy, and I'm supposed to use 2/3 of a cup of sugar. I have to be honest, I will probably use slightly less, and then add if I need to. I just think that especially with the chocolate, it may be sugary enough, so I'm going to just add it as I go. So as I mentioned, this is coconut sugar. You can use any sugar you want. I prefer brown sugar, and everyone use what they think is best. Yeah. So first I'm going to put in the coconut, then I'll do some more whipping, as was prescribed, while I now measure out the sugar. So as I mentioned, 2/3 of a cup is the actual requirement. And I'm going to start out, I think, with 1/2 cup and see how that goes, yeah? Because this can also be quite sweet, the coconut sugar. Okay, so I decided to use the coconut with the sugar because I thought, heck, why not just go for it, you know? I love coconut, my husband loves coconut. So we're whipping all this together, and you can see we've got a different color going on because of the sugar. Now add the grated coconut and mix everything together. So now I need my spatula, which I love. I admit to you that the spatula is something that I used to import because I couldn't find spatula in Europe. And then we started to find them here too. So I'm going to use the spatula now instead of the whisk. Okay. And the consistency is becoming more like what I can use to make the balls. Okay. So voila. Now, because I'm using the coconut flakes, the consistency is a little bit more, let's see, what do I want to say? Humid. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a little bit more coconut because when I mix it together, I want to make sure that the balls stick together. Yeah? Okay. One of the things about putting out videos and being on the internet is like you're totally exposed to criticism in a way that really you can hide from when you're just in your own kitchen and you don't have the video on. And I admit to you that I like to be hidden from criticism. But I decided in this moment, what the hell, let's go for it. I actually like to get my hands in stuff. So I also think that when you use your hands, you get a sense of the consistency of things. And for example, right now you see how I'm putting them kind of far apart. I suspect that the consistency of this may be too watery. So I'm actually just going to make 6 for right now. Because I need to see if I need to add something to make them less watery for the next time, okay? So Barbara says here that I should cook for about 20 minutes. So I'm just going to put these 6 guys in and I'm going to cook them, voila, for 20 minutes, and I'll be back. Okay, so according to the timer, we have 8 minutes, but if I come down here and I look, they look like they're almost done to me. But that could be because I used the brown coconut sugar. I keep watching and let you know. Okay, first batch is out of the oven, and I think they're a little too dark, but they taste really good. So I'm moving on to batch number 2 here. I've got these going on. I'm making these a little bit bigger because now that I know that they actually work, they're almost too sweet, to be honest. I think next time I would put less sugar, and I'm actually going to change the recipe before I put the post up too. That's why I always do these things before I post. I make sure that I've made the stuff. So here we go. I'm going to put these guys that are bigger. And why am I making them bigger? Because then when I dip them in chocolate, they will be half chocolate, half not, you see. So I thought that 20 minutes was going to be too much, but it turns out it really was perfect. So based on the recipe, you get about, let's see, how many do I have over there? I have 6 and 7. I would say you get about a dozen cookies with this if you were to make them all this size. So I'm going to put this last batch into the oven for 20 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to also melt the chocolate. Back. Cookies finished. Now, on these long guys, I'm going to put some chocolate. I should probably mention here that these, when Barbara made them, they were white. Sorry, Barbara, I'm pretty sure it's because I used the cocoa sugar. So if you want them to be snowy white, if that's your goal, then you want to use the coconut and just plain white sugar. Not my goal. I'm really happy they're beautiful, sort of goldeny, caramelly brown. And now they're going to have a black edge because you can see here, I've got my Bun Muddy and I am melting that 85% chocolate that I showed you before. So I'm going to melt this guy slow and sure. I'm going to get out my spatula here because you may know I love the spatula. And I'm going to melt the chocolate, and then after the chocolate is melted, I will then dip the cookies in. And then I don't have really a fridge big enough for that plate, but it's cold outside. So I'm going to put them out on the balcony for the night. Barbara said an hour is okay, but I'm going to put them out there anyway so that they can set. And I have prepared, we have this little tent here, which we usually use in the summer when we're grilling. And it opens up and then it goes there. So I'm going to put them outside like that. Final step, water's boiling, chocolate is melted. Now begin the dipping. I'm going to shut off the water though, because otherwise I fear the water may jump into the chocolate. So dipping is not such a straightforward process for me because I don't have a really long or high chocolate amount in here. So I'm going to facilitate, which you can do. If you have a more deep bowl, great. I don't, so I'm facilitating with my trusty spatula. So I'm using it to coat chocolate onto the coconut cookies. Coconut could seriously be one of my favorite things on earth. While we were in India, I ate coconut as much as humanly possible. I mean, I didn't eat coconut when we were in Delhi because it's not really the epicenter of coconut, but when we were in South India and in Sri Lanka, I could not get enough coconut. It's so good. It's so super yummy. And in my post, I talk about, even in Sri Lanka, watch this guy shimmying up and getting the coconuts from the tree right in front of our little guest house area. And that was really cool. I've seen that in India too, in Kerala. So here basically, some of you may remember something called an almond joy. This is like my own personal almond joy. I'm super happy to eat these tomorrow with a cup of tea. I have a really good friend who loves chocolate with coffee. I think lots of people love chocolate with coffee, but I'm here to admit to you that when I have coffee, I just don't want chocolate because they're just too good to go together. So when I'm eating chocolate, I usually have tea. So I have to be honest, another reason I'm doing this is because we're in lockdown and we can't get out to get, sweet stuff. And Claudio likes to have with his coffee like a cookie or something, typical Italian breakfast. And also, to be frank, it's a lot cheaper than buying stuff, and it's really good for us. So I will now put these outside with their little tent on them, like I indicated. And my final thing will be tomorrow, a picture of them all with the chocolate hard and set.